Hello everyone, welcome to the second video of VMware vSphere 5.5 install, configure and manage series. In this video I'm going to show you, in this video we're going to do, we're going to verify ESXi host installation, configure IP configuration on ESXi host, then we'll be installing vSphere 5, the vSphere client 5.5, and we'll be connecting from vSphere client to ESXi host. So let's continue. So what I have, so in our part 1 of the video, we have already installed this Windows server, which is CANAPS VC01. On this server we're going to install vSphere client to start with. We have also installed these 3 ESXi hosts. So the very first thing what I'll do is I'll just log in. Always make sure that do not log into the machine, because if you go by this enter password, it will log in, but you'll be logging into this local machine. Instead you should switch user and always log into the domain. Our domain is CANAPS/administrator account, and it is logging in. Once it is logged in, just make sure your IP addresses, name is proper, is part of a domain, and we'll move forward. So as soon as it starts, it shows me that the IP address on this server is 100.10. It is properly joined to a domain, and that is it for now. Now the second one is ESXi host number 1. If I click inside, now the very first thing that I need to do is to reconfigure the IP address to match my subnet. So my subnet is 100.20. The IP address that is configured is 65.161, which won't be accessible from this machine, or the DC, which is 100.10. So it is very important to reconfigure IP address on this. Now how do we do that? Now within this screen, if you scroll down, you would see it says F2 customize settings and F12 for shutdown or restart. So in order to configure the IP address, we'll click inside and press F2. It asks us for root password. We use password 1, the capital password 1 and root. As soon as password is inserted, it logs in. What we need to do is now configure password. No need to configure password. What we need to do is configure network. Within network, we need to configure IP, change this dynamic setting to static, and then all we need to do is to change this IP address to 100. So I'm going to start my ESXi host from 100.50, and make sure that you have, because it needs a gateway. It cannot let you save without a gateway, so we'll use just one gateway. Since we won't be going out of the subnet, gateway is not required, but gateway is requirement for ESXi host. So make sure you use 1 or 2 for the gateway. Now the second important thing is DNS configuration. DNS IP address, I would still configure DNS IP address, and our DNS IP address is 100.10. The next configuration is host. We'll use a proper name for the host, CANAPS. Where am I getting this? Because we already named these hosts as this, so I'm going to use the same name within inside ESXi 01, and this is my host name. I'm also going to use FQDN, fully qualified domain name, because later on we'll be registering or creating a host records within DNS. So make sure that you do host name and DNS setting. Press enter. Same as you press enter, now all you need to do is press escape. As soon as you do press escape, it will ask you, very important, to restart the management network. If you don't restart the management network, these settings won't be saved. Soon as you press Y, which is yes, the network management is started. Now you can verify network connectivity to ping back the DC and the second server, the vCenter server. Let's ping them and see that if they are pinging. Now they might not pinging address. Pinging address is fine. They are pinging, so it is pinging DC, and it is trying to ping that second server, which is the second it failed. Now the reason is that it is VMware Workstation, and VMware Workstation, it works on a virtual network. Now right under the screen here on this bar, it shows me the network card. This network is set for NAT. I need to make sure that all my servers are set to the same NAT address. What about DC? DC has two, one is NAT, the other one is bridged. So as long as it is NAT, my second machine should be NAT as well. This is NAT, and this one is also NAT. Now it is pinging, this is pinging resolving host name. It is pinging 10, but it is not pinging. So for now I'll just leave it as if and click inside, escape one more time, and make sure that it shows you the name and IP address. This is how we're going to connect to this machine. Now before connecting, I'm going to do the same setting on the second one. Press inside, press F2, password, and then once it is logged in, go to network configuration, IP address, change to static. Here I'm gonna use 100.60 and gateway 100.1. It can be 2 as well, but I'm not too concerned about wrong gateway because I won't be going into another subnet or out of this network. Here it says the DNS settings. DNS is 10, and again the host. Let's configure the host. Canaps ESXi 02. I'll match the name that I've used, and then I'm gonna use the FQDN here, and OK. Press escape just like we did last time. Restart the management network and go back to the main screen. Same thing on the third one. F2, enter. So it is F2, enter, password, enter. It connects, configure management network, IP address, change to static, and this time this is my third machine, so I'm gonna provide an IP address of 100.70, 100.1 for the gateway. OK. DNS settings 100.10, and it is Canaps ESXi 03. Providing FQDN is not important at the moment, but since we are doing the configuration, I might as well do it. Press escape, restart management network. Once it is restarted, and press escape. Now here within F2 it gives you many other settings, but we'll check those settings later on. But now I need to make sure 100.70, 100.60 and 100.50. So initial configuration is done. Now we'll install a Vsphere client on VC1. Now in order to install Vsphere client, all I need to do is to insert the Vsphere CD, which is on my host drive. I have a folder called this. Now I can insert that CD. That's one way of doing it, but another way of doing it would be directly. So for now, if I just insert the CD on this machine, but before even installing Vsphere client, we need to verify connectivity from VC to ESXi host by connecting to this link. Always connect to the link that is provided. It says we can also download. So the way I can do it, I can go to Internet Explorer, guys. Since this is a server, within server it is important that I disable configure IE enhanced security configuration, because otherwise it would ask me, so always discover, otherwise it would ask you to add all the sites into trusted, and that's an extra headache. So here I would go try to connect to the first ESXi host, which is 192.168.100.50, and where am I getting this IP address? From this host, HTTP 192.168.100.50. This is how we verify the IP address. Now make sure that you have the proper IP address. So now the thing that I want to show you is using this link without HTTPS, it won't connect. Without HTTPS, it will give us an error message. So while this is trying to connect, I'll copy this and next. Oh, it is connected. Okay, it already converted it into HTTPS. Sometimes it would give you an error message while trying to connect to without S. In this case, it has already converted this link to HTTPS. So which means connection to first server is fine. Now I'm gonna test the second server. I'll open the second tab and connect to the second server, which is 60. I would recommend doing the same thing for the third one as well. And here 70. And as soon as you go onto this link, as you can see, it is not HTTPS, but as soon as you continue, it changes this and it is connected to this page. Now this page means these servers are accessible from VCP, and here they are. Now from these servers you can download this client, but this client, in order to download this client, it would take you to internet, to VMware website. As you can see right here, it shows you that Vsphere client, vmware.com. You have to have internet connection on these machines. Or the easier, and it's about 300 meg, you will download the client, same thing. But we can do the same thing right from the CD. So as remember, we inserted a CD, guys. Always remember, when you insert a CD, it is selected as the checkbox for connected is selected. Okay, that's okay. As soon as you do this, it will load the Vsphere vCenter. Actually, this is a CD for installation of vCenter, but it also has that Vsphere client. If that auto run screen doesn't pop up automatically, what we can do is we can go to computer and right click and open auto play, and then run this setup. This is a complete Vsphere vCenter client, vCenter installation, but here for now what we are interested in, Vsphere client version. Just install. It's a quick install. You can get it from the CD, or this can be downloaded directly from VMware website by going through this link. Now this is Vsphere client is free, but Vsphere vCenter is not free. Just to save some time, I'm just trying to install this right from the vCenter CD. Now as soon as it is installed, then we can try connecting to one of the ESXi hosts. So extracting, next. On any server, if you need to install a Vsphere client, it is just installed once, and then you can connect to as many hosts as possible. Next, I accept, next. Now while this is being installed, again, once ESXi hosts are installed, the second thing, we configure all IP address configuration. Third is that we need to try connecting to these links directly from from another server. I mean, these links can be connected from DC as well. if you go to a DC and try connecting to this link here, it should be able to connect to these machines. So these are just HTTP links, but we'll be doing everything from VC, this server. So later on we'll be installing vCenter on this server as well. So, and this is where I'm doing it. So from the same CD you can install a complete vCenter, which we'll be doing in future videos. We'll be installing Update Manager and all these other tools as well. So let me see if the installation, once the installation is complete, what we need to do is it creates this icon here. It is finished. Now let's verify. Make sure that you have in all programs you have a VMware folder in which you have Vsphere client, or you can also connect it from here. Now as soon as you open the clients, you need to go by IP address, because we have not created a host record for these machines, otherwise we would have went by name. Now here what can we do is just going to 192.168 100.50, and since we are directly connecting to the host, we'll use root account. So root account, password, login. We can open as many sessions as we want. So this first session is for the first one. It asks you for the certificate warning. Normally just go ignore. In real environment we would install certificate, but even if you ignore it, doesn't matter here in this environment. Now as soon as you ignore, it is loading everything. Now it is connected. It is a 60-day evaluation version. So this shows that our ESXi host is working fine. Most of our time will be spent in inventory. In inventory it shows to this ESXi host. Now once we try to connect from Vsphere client to ESXi host, you cannot connect to multiple ESXi hosts from one session. You can however you can create a second session to the second server. So again, root account, and I would highly recommend checking all of the servers by connecting to it. Again, it would ask you for the warning. You would select ignore. Would select ignore for this, and it would load the second server. So this is my second machine. So first machine is here, second, and since we are in verification phase, we'll just verify all ESXi hosts are being accessed through this machine. So now since it would ask again, ignore the certificate warning, and so here I have machine 1, 2, 3. Machine 1 and 2 and 3. So guys, in this video we have seen we have verified ESXi installation, configure IP configuration, install Vsphere client, connected Vsphere client to ESXi host, and in the next video we're going to explore some options here, and then we're going to install vCenter. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next video.